All right, official welcome to the weight loss webinar. Welcome, welcome, welcome. So tonight we are going to talk about something really, really important. We're gonna talk about the reason why weight loss continues to be so hard for so many of us. So I'm going to share my screen real quick and take us right into the presentation. It is very helpful if you have a notepad with you, because this is going to be some things that you're going to want to write down and process through. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. My screen's going to look kind of weird. All right, can everyone see my screen?
I've got your screen up and I'm still monitoring the chat box too. So at any time, if anyone has questions, you can keep typing away in the chat box and we will answer you as we go.
Yes. So if you all can see the screen, please let us know. You can still hear us and see the screen and all the things. We want to make sure that you guys are able to see all the things. Perfect. Okay. Welcome to Why You Aren't Losing the Weight and the Secret Truth About Weight Loss. Again, this webinar was designed specifically because Sable and I are both fitness coaches and we have been doing this for a long, long time. And in a second, we're going to give you guys a brief introduction into who we are and how our story is even relevant to this webinar. But something I see really often is every New Year's, people are like, this is the year, I'm going to lose the weight. I'm going to, figure it out. I'm going to do what I need to do. And then by the end of that same year, they're completely defeated. They don't understand what went wrong. Like their intention was so strong. They were so clear. They were so committed. And by the end of the year, they're completely deflated. And it doesn't matter what it is that they tried or what it is that they did, they just cannot get the result that they want. So this webinar is designed for all of you, whether you're watching live or you're catching the replay, who are having that experience. Meet your hosts.
Oh, look how cute we are.
Yes, I know, right? I am Shakti and Sable's about to introduce herself in a second. And we are both coaches. We work in the same online virtual community. We have a wellness studio that we monitor and that we coach clients in. And we both have very successful weight loss story. I lost 35 pounds after I had my son, and Sable has lost over 20 pounds now as well. And in the middle, I just put a couple of things about us that we have in common. We both have a history of binge eating, emotional eating. We've tried many diet plans. We tried gyms and classes, and we finally found a recipe that worked. So I'm going to hand it over to Sable to give you a little bit of a background of like where her weight loss journey started and where she is today.
Hi guys. So my weight loss journey started, oh my gosh, I've been trying to lose weight since high school. Probably even in high school, I was trying to lose weight because I was never the smallest or the skinniest or the most fit. And after, the college freshman 20, try like freshman 40, freshman 50. And it just kept growing. And as I saw the number on the scale get bigger, my emotions, got the best of me. And that kept spiraling me into depression, anxiety, more stress, more emotional eating, more binge eating. More failed diet plans, and the more times I failed, the worse it got. And I found myself in a place where I was working out so that I could eat what I wanted. And really, I just never found a successful, happy place with my food. I work a stressful job. I work in hospitality. I run 2 event facilities, one being a convention center. So I have a lot of different hats that I wear. I have a large family. Family causes stress. And, really up until this last 2 years, I really didn't have a plan that worked for me. And even now I work in an office environment and I see women, like Shakti said, start so strong on a diet plan, and usually a fad diet plan, and they do so well. And then something hits them, a stressor, a financial stress, maybe a family stress, maybe it's a holiday or a party, and then they just spiral back out of control, and they can't figure out why they lose weight and gain weight and lose weight and gain weight. And over the last year especially, I've seen a lot of friends, family members, colleagues do this, and I have managed to still stay true to my plan and my weight loss. And it really doesn't have anything to do with the workouts. That's just, to keep my body strong and give me a physical activity. So really a whole lot of different things have played into my weight gain and my weight loss.
Our stories are not so dissimilar, although the height of my story is after I had my son. So a little bit about me. I've had body image dysmorphia pretty much my entire life. I have used food as a reward system. I have used food as something that I was averse to. I was exhibiting anorexic tendencies as young as 11. And then that switched over to binging. So for me, food was always, in my family, the conversation about weight was always really big. There was always a commentary about your weight when you showed up, whether you're too thin or you're too fat or whatever that is. So there was a lot of attention on body my entire life, and that I grew up extremely insecure about my body. And I never really got over that ever as a youth. And I always kind of battled with this yo-yoing thing. Like I'd work out and I was paleo for 2.5 years. And then I was vegan for a period of time, and like I would lose some weight and then I would gain it back. And then my body just never felt happy. There was never like a sense of peace in my body. I would eat something and I would be calculating like all the calories and weight I was going to gain. I was like terrified of someone asking me to eat a cupcake or a donut or something. Like I would just panic when I was in social situations inside, of course, never demonstrating that externally because I had so much stress around food. And like Sable, I worked out to be able to eat what I wanted. I was like, if I just exercise this amount of time, then it'll compensate for whatever. After I had my son, however, 3 years ago, my life really dramatically changed. And I found myself in a heavy postpartum depression place with about 25 pounds over my pre-baby weight, and really stress eating and emotional eating because I was so stressed out and I was so depressed and anxious. And I became a health and fitness coach at that time. That's really when my coaching career began. Because I wanted a couple of things. One of them was more accountability for myself. And I was also like, working out, I know that helps me feel better in my mind. So I'm going to start doing that and see if I can get my endorphins going and my body just feeling better in general. And from then to now, it's been 3 years of a lot of self-exploration, a lot of really learning what works, and not just what works for me, but what works, period. What have I seen work with my fitness clients? What have I seen work with my people who have anxiety and depression? What have I seen work with the people who are either food averse or food obsessed? Those are the two crowds of people that we usually get in our community. And one thing that we discovered that is universally true of all people when it comes to their weight, whether it's weight loss or weight gain, is that weight loss is not an action. It's a mindset. I really want you guys to hear that. Weight loss is not an action. It's a mindset. Here's what I mean by action. Actions are how we usually address weight loss. We say, if I want to lose weight, I will join a gym, start a keto, paleo, vegan plan, whatever. Juice detox, cleanse for 20 days, no sugar, no flour, meal plan to death. Ask everyone else what they think. Right? Wasn't that your first go-to, Sable, when you're like, I want to lose weight? And you're like, what are all the physical things that I can do?
I have tried all of them.
Right? Me too.
All of them. All of them. If someone told me, hey, I lost 10 pounds because I did this, I was like, girl, I'm going to do it twice, then I'm going to lose 20. And, and then I gained 20, or I gained 5, or I gained 10 because I just wasn't answering the right questions. It wasn't solving the problem.
Correct. So how many of you guys watching this right now have jumped straight to the action piece? You're like, I need to lose the weight, so I'm going to go do X, Y, Z. My homegirl lost 10 pounds. My homeboy lost 20 pounds. This person said this worked, so I'm going to try that thing. Yes, of course. Of course. That's like, we as human beings are obsessed with trying to change the program with the program. And what I mean by that is we try to change reality with reality instead of going to like the source of like what's creating the reality. So we try to change our results from our action, not realizing that there is something that is creating the action in the first place. Let me break it down for you. This is where we usually go, but this is not what works, okay? The universal thing that has brought success to our lives and our clients' lives is mindset, okay? And I broke it down real simple. This is where the notepad is handy, y'all, so you can plug it in, okay? So mindset, the difference is here we are addressing how we think and feel about our bodies and our weight. Okay, so we're going to plug this in. Now, where we usually go is the action place. Okay, we start here, but there's all this stuff up here that needs to be addressed first. So right now, I want you to be real honest with yourself, and I want you to answer these questions. Write it down. When I think about my body, the primary thought I have is, what is that thought? Is it, I'm so fat? Is it, none of my clothes fit? Is it, I'm so uncomfortable? I'm so ashamed? I want to hide? Whatever the primary thought is, go into your mind and slow the tape down enough that you can catch the primary thought, okay? Then I want you to ask yourself, when I have that thought, the primary emotion I feel is what? What is the primary emotion that you feel when you think that thought? Do you feel shame? Do you feel guilt? Do you feel horrified? Do you feel sad? What is the primary feeling that you feel? And then ask yourself, when I have that feeling, what is the primary course of action that I take? So when you feel that feeling, whether it's sad or horrified or shame or guilt, what do you usually do? What kind of actions do you take? Do you spin out in your mind? Do you avoid food and social gatherings, or do you go straight to binge eating? What do you do when you have that feeling in your body? And then I want you to identify, after you take that kind of an action, what result do you usually get? And what I want you to see from this really simple model is that the result, there's a pointer here, and I'm going to use it.
Oh boy.
The result will always prove the thought correct. Okay, so let me go back. Let me explain what I mean by that. If the primary thought is...
Here, do you want me to go through mine? I have a before and after, if that helps.
Perfect. Go.
So 2 years ago, if I had answered these 4 questions, when I think about my body, the primary thought I have is fat or overweight. When I have that thought, the primary emotion I feel is depressed. When I have that feeling, the primary course of action that I take is binge eat. And when I say binge eat, I was like eating McDonald's cheeseburgers in my car so no one could see me. And when I take that action, the primary result I usually get is weight gain. So here I am in this vicious cycle that will never end with those 4 sentences.
The result was weight gain, proving the thought that she is fat correct. Okay, so I want you guys to look at the models that you just filled out and reflect. What did you learn by just doing this really, really simple activity? So this is a time where you guys can go ahead and share in this chat box. Like, You don't have to share everything you wrote down, but did something that you write down surprise you? Did you just learn something by looking at this model, by looking at this very simple breakdown that we just gave you guys? Was this insightful in any way? I'll tell you what, when I did this, I was like, whoa, I've got some work to do on my brain. And this is when you realize that your thoughts are literally creating everything down the line. And this is when you also realize there's a reason why it doesn't work to start from the action place. Because if you're just trying to change the action to get a new result, you're not dealing with what you're thinking and feeling, right? So you're just trying to go from here to here, right? And you're ignoring this when these things are actually creating this and then creating this. Does that make sense? Right. So let's get a little intentional and let's create a new model right now live. By the way, this is how I coach a lot of my clients when it comes to pretty much anything in their lives. It works every time. So the circumstance is your weight or your body. And what we just did is what we call a model. And this is an unintentional model. So this exactly out of a model I got from my own coach, Brooke Castillo, which she put together from a lot of other spiritual teachers. So the circumstance would be your weight or your body. Then you have the primary thought, primary feeling, action, and result. So now we're going to create an intentional model. And this model will be different than this model because you're going to choose a different thought. Okay, the circumstance is going to remain the same, but you are going to choose a new thought. So right now, I want you guys to think of a new thought about your body or your weight. And go ahead and share it in the chat box if you feel so inclined. What is a new thought that you can have about your body right now that feels better than the thought that you had in the previous model, but isn't such a jump that you're like, I don't believe that? So I want to prevent thoughts like my body is beautiful if you are so far from believing that. If that is a really jump thought for you, that's not where you want to go, because what ends up happening then is your ego will be like, that's not true, and fight you. My body is healing. That's a really good one. That has no resistance behind it. That's a good one. So that kind of a thought has no resistance. And those are the kind of thoughts we want to have. The thoughts that allow, not resist. So don't pick thoughts that you feel like the gap is too big. Okay. So then when you think this new thought, how does that make you feel? Identify the feeling. So in your case, April, the thought, my body is healing, how would that make you feel? And then after you identify the primary feeling, how does that feeling, which is hopeful, how does that feeling usually encourage you to act? What kind of an action do you usually take when you feel hopeful? What kind of behavior follows a feeling of hopeful? And then after that, identify what kind motivated more healthy behavior. Okay. And so when you're motivated and you do more healthy activities, whatever those activities are, what results do you usually get? Probably a good one. Healing, right? Which proves your thought, which is my body is healing. Okay. So now look at your models side by side and realize that the circumstance remained exactly the same. The only thing that changed was your thought. That's it. Your thought was literally the only thing that changed. And everything that came after was completely different as a result of a new thought. Is that crazy or what? So take a second to reflect on that. How did the intentional model feel to you versus the unintentional model? What was the difference energetically when you looked at those two models? How did they make you feel? This is really powerful, by the way. This is one of those exercises that really helps you look at Your patterns of behavior. Possibilities. Yeah, you both said that. Of course. It makes you feel possible. Because it shows you that you're literally just one thought away from whatever you want. Yeah, exactly right. So good. So here's what we found that really, really works. Okay, I'm going to have Sable go through this slide because we were just talking about this today and how much we love, love, love the world that we've created to help people with their health and fitness because of these things.
Yes. So what really has worked for us is a group that we've created, the Workout Warrior Wellness Studio, where we have surrounded ourselves as well as our clients with positive mindsets, all of the tools that they need to grow their positivity and get the support they need to have these intentional thoughts and mindset. There's multiple systems that we offer which don't force you to give up things you love. There's no depriving yourself. There's no struggling, and like your reason for why you're doing it. So everyone that's in there, they all have different stories, but they all love what they're doing and why they're doing it. Again, the community, and it's simple. We have simple nutrition, simple workout, simple mindset, opportunities for you to work through, like what we just did. We have tons of activities like that, as well as meditations, things outside of your normal realm of don't eat carbs and go to the gym all day.
Exactly. My gosh. No forcing, no depriving, no struggle, okay? That doesn't work. What you resist persists, okay? Know where your mindset is and where you want it to be. That's super important. I just did a vision board party yesterday. The reason we do a vision board is so that you know where your mindset is and where you want it to be, okay? When you make choices, make sure you like your reasons for why you're doing them. That's it. That's what we encourage inside of our community. Like your reasons for why you're eating that thing. Like your reason for why you're going to the gym or why you're working out with one of our programs. Like
it
your
doesn't mean don't eat the cookie. It means like why you're eating the cookie.
like your reason. As long as you like your reason, it's all good. And community and simplicity. Okay, so take a second to think, like, do you have a 2019 support plan yet? Because everything that Sable just mentioned, if you are looking for that, we can give you that, okay? And here's the beauty of this. It is community paired with simplicity. It is an entire community, the Workout Warrior Wellness Studio, that gives you all of this, everything that Sable just mentioned, for your holistic health, okay? Because again, fitness, weight loss, health, it is all about that holistic piece. The mindset piece is super huge, and that's something that we specialize in our wellness studio, is in that. We have videos on meditations, on EFT tapping, we have TEDx talks. I'm going in there now scheduling once a month one-on-one coaching so I can go live. You guys can hop on, ask questions on what you're struggling with, and I can coach you real time inside of there. Every day, one of the coaches who runs a group is posting different activities, different articles. We just had someone post an article in there about whether gluten intolerance is a real thing or we're actually intolerant to the chemicals that they spray on gluten. So there's always so much to learn from, and there's always this component of let's talk about self-image. Let's talk about how we feel about ourselves. Let's talk about what's coming up for you. What are your triggers? What are you bumping up against? So, so important. So if you've watched this and you don't have a support plan yet for 2019, then you are welcome to join us. We do have enrollment open for any of you who are interested. You will be given all the tools that you need. We'll set you up with immediate access to the wellness studio. So just contact us, either one of us. There's our contact information. It's just the final screen if you do need support. But please, 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 whatever it is that you choose to do, whatever path you choose to go down when you're starting your new year and you're thinking about your weight loss, understand that your weight loss is a mindset. And what's made me be able to take like get rid of the 35 pounds and maintain that for years has been knowing that and developing a relationship to my body, developing a relationship that felt like friendship, that felt like curiosity, that felt like appreciation, instead of being like, why aren't you working the way I want you to work? And why aren't you doing what I want you to do? And why don't you look the way I want you to look? Understand that how you are speaking to yourself on a regular basis, those words that you're choosing to say to yourself, they're coming from a thought that you're having, like my body is unacceptable, or I'm not attractive, or I'm too fat, or whatever that is. And that's triggering this behavior of self-deprecating talk, which of course doesn't feel good and usually tends to trigger the very behaviors you're trying to work against. Okay. So understand that the action itself is not the thing that's going to bring you success. It's everything else. We are happy to give you all of the tools that we use that have been insanely positive and successful for us. But the real work, and the real work we do in our community, is the mindset work. It is that piece that, in what I've seen long-term for my clients, bring them the most success has been that. Do you want to say anything else, Sable? You want to add something?
I think that we've covered it all. Just that the wellness studio that we've created is easily my most favorite project that I've ever worked on, ever. Because I find that so many of us have the same desire to lose weight, to be healthier, to be the best versions of ourselves. But a lot of times we're the only one in our circle that wants that. And we get swallowed by the negativity around us, by family members, by spouses, by colleagues and friends that don't get it. And everyone in this group gets it, everyone. Yeah. And so if you don't have that now, you can easily at the drop of a hat. And that has made the biggest difference.
Totally agree. And I love that the space is so safe. We have so many people in there who are dealing with depression and anxiety, a lot of moms who are struggling with time management and finding time for themselves, and young women who are suffering with severe depression and don't understand how to take care of themselves, and they're just learning that inside of the group. And the fact that we have a space that embraces all of those different like paths of life and like seasons of life, and it's really powerful to see every woman support the other, no matter what season of her life she's in. Like that has been really beautiful to see the community kind of take the other person in and help them and offer them words of kindness or offer them suggestions or support. So I agree with Sable. It is one of my most favorite projects that I've ever worked on, and it just keeps getting better. I feel like we just keep adding more stuff that is amazing. I feel like I add a meditation every day. I'm like, ooh, this one's great. Ooh, that one's great.
I think I just uploaded 9 recipes, breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and snacks. So, yeah.
Carol, so the group is free, and going into the group is free. All you need is tools. So I think I have, do I have your email? No, I have your phone number. So all I do is I send you the tools to get into the group. So it would be like your fitness library, your nutrition kit, and then you just go right on in. That's it. But I have your phone number. That's what I have. I'll text you that stuff to go in there. Mm-hmm. It's really simple. It's really easy to sign up. It's really easy to get in there, and you get immediate access to everything. But awesome, April. We can send you that information as well. So you have our contact information. Email either one of us, and we will get you set up so you can get on in here and do the work, ladies, and knock your 2019 out of the park. All right. So again, I'm going to share the screen real quick in case you didn't catch our contact information. There's our contact information again, our emails. Hit us up and we will set you up. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Do you guys have any more questions about your own models or anything that came up for you? We worked through these pretty fast, so I'm happy to talk about anything that came up. If you want to be coached by us, you've got us on the line, real time. It is so simple. It is so simple. And here's what I think is so different about the approach that we take. We understand it's not just about the working of the body and the eating of the food. It's so much more than that. And when you take care of that stuff, the working out becomes easier, the food becomes easier. You're no longer fighting yourself to not do things. And that's what I really want to I don't want you guys to fight yourselves. I don't want you to fight your body. I don't want you to fight your inclinations. If you want to eat the fucking cookie, I'm sorry, I curse. Eat it. Eat the cookie. And then don't feel bad about it. Just eat the cookie. And after you've eaten the cookie, sit with, why did I eat that cookie? Did I want the cookie, or was I wanting something else? Was I wanting a feeling? Was I wanting an experience? And then just get curious about your process. You know, I don't believe in guilt. I don't believe in shame. I don't believe in forcing yourself into different habits of behavior. I believe that we can change when we're ready. And we get ready by becoming curious and by leaning into, why are we doing certain things, and letting ourselves answer that question instead of becoming like a battleground in our bodies. I think that when we do that, it just doesn't work. It doesn't work. It never works. So, yeah, I think Saba would totally agree with that, because we've tried the fighting thing and it doesn't work. It does not. All right. Well then, so we'll be expecting emails from whoever is emailing, and then Carol, I'm going to text you right now. And then that's it. Have an amazing night. Have an amazing 2019. We're so excited to welcome you guys into the Wellness Studio. If you want to come into the Wellness Studio, if not, I hope that you got so much value out of this webinar that you have a completely different mindset going into 2019, and that it super serves you guys. All right. So much love.
Thanks, ladies.